Everyone, and welcome to the Movie Section Show. My name is Fariba, and happy Super Bowl Sunday. And let's just say we've been getting a blast full of new trailers coming out the last hour or so. It's been quite a roller coaster ride. The latest that's come out, of course, is Twister. Now, in terms of what I've read so far about this movie, it's not really a remake. It's not really a reboot. It's kind of like a standalone sequel from what I've read. I believe that's what it is. So even though it is based on the same idea that you have these storm chasers who are trying to capture a glimpse of the tornado, it's not going to have much connections to the original 90s movie. Now, I have seen the 90s movie. I think I've seen the original movies from the 90s with Ellen Hunt and Bill Paxton. I think I've seen that so many times. I actually believe there used to be like an attraction at Universal Studios Orlando where basically they kind of have like this whole setup of like the Twister thing and kind of showing how it all, kind of showing like a whole show of it all. That one it's no longer there anymore. I think it got replaced by the Fast and Furious, or at least it now occupies parts of that whole attraction that used to be there. It's now, I believe, held by the Fast and Furious new attraction there that I kind of don't really like. But yeah, no, when it comes to Twister, I'm very familiar with it. Heck, there used to be a whole attraction to it and Universal Studios. So I'm very curious to see this film. Now, this movie will star Glenn Powell, who has kind of been becoming a really big star in the last year or so. He was in Top Gun 2 a couple of years ago, and then recently he was in Anyone But You. So he's become quite a hot actor right now. I mean, he has a new movie coming out called Hitman, and that one's supposed to be a pretty big one. It also stars Daisy, I can't remember, it was like Daisy Jones something. I can't remember her full name, but her name is Daisy. She's, you'll recognize her from Normal People if you've seen that series on Hulu, as well as I think the last movie was Where the Crawdads Sing. So some pretty good big names that we have around with this upcoming Twister sequel that we're having. I'm very curious to see what this movie is going to be about and how it's going to try and be different from the original one. So yeah, without further ado, let's get right down into the first trailer for Twisters.
Dodge whatever's in there. It's big and it's moving fast. Drive. Go.
Oh shit. Okay, so it's similar to the first one. Okay. It's dangerously stupid. But okay.
It's Tyler Owens. Calls himself Tornado Wrangler. If you feel it! I said if you feel it! Chase it! Alright, here we go. Oh, she's perfect!
She's gorgeous!
You thought you could destroy a tornado.
We never had a chance.
Destroy a tornado?
You want one? You don't face your fears. You ride them. We got twins! Twins!
Was that it?
Nope.
Oh shit. So that was the Twisters trailer. And I gotta say, like, I do have some questions, of course. So I can see where they're trying to be a bit different from the original one. There are a couple things that do kind of ring a bell. I'm like, okay, these are how they're trying to kind of make it very distinct. Like, for one thing, it seems as though that they're trying, like, it seems as though, like, in this film, there happens to be a following with these types of storm chasers. So, like, in a way, like how, because in modern day we have influencer culture and these viral videos and all this sort of stuff. I'm assuming that's kind of where they're leaning into, like showing off this new culture, this mainstream media of how things have changed since the 90s, because of course like things like this have never happened before. I mean, back then, like when it comes to meteorology, like they were just starting to get an understanding how the system works when it comes to like tornado forming and all that sort of stuff. And now it's like, well, we kind of have a much better understanding of it now. Was it 30 years since? Almost 30 years since? And it's like, okay, well, how can we make this very different? So one thing is trying to integrate the whole culture of influencers or just virality of like any sort of event. So that seems to be the case here. Another one that really stuck, that kind of like grabbed my attention was the fact that instead of it being like, trying to get these like balls, because now the bit where they're trying to use sort of these like this technology to try and emit it into a ongoing tornado. We know we got that visual from back in the original movie where they try to use the same system, where they try to use these balls that would like go up and try to get like an analysis of how a tornado works and how it's spiraling, and kind of just getting a data of it, of how a tornado would form and how it would function. Now it seems as though they're using kind of the same system, but instead of like understanding or analyzing the actual tornado, it's a matter of trying to destroy using that technology. So not sure how I don't know if that's even possible. I don't know if that's even effective. I don't know if there's even scientific evidence for that sort of thing. So one that I'm kind of like, okay, this could be a bit contrived a little bit, but we'll see how it goes. Like, I mean, having now seen the trailer, of course, it definitely kind of hits a lot of the same ballparks of like the sequences, the visuals that we're seeing from the original one. I seem as though there seems to be kind of a couple of cases where they do run into some danger along the way, and we see that here and there. Glenn Powell playing a cowboy, that seems to be pretty kind of new idea right here, and they're really playing on him being a big cowboy, which makes sense because he's from Texas, so they're playing on something that he's already comfortable with doing. So I will say that I will watch it. I do hope that in a sense that a lot of what they reveal in this trailer will be explained a lot better in the movie. Maybe I just need a second trailer to kind of get a better sense of what is going on in the story and how the characters are integrated and how they're vital in terms of everything that's going on. But I'm gonna keep my reservations about this just because there are a couple things where I'm like, yeah, the trailer looks all right. And in terms, and I just have like questions about whether or not it's necessary. And it seems as though there are a couple of areas where it does work, like showing kind of how things have evolved since the first Twister movie. But then at the same time, it's like, in a way of they're trying to make it different, some things are not really adding up. So maybe they have some tricks up their sleeves. I will give it a chance without a doubt. I mean, I'll watch just about any movie that is out there because I feel like it's really important that I form my own opinions about it rather than just hearing from critics or anything like that. But even that being the case, I'm gonna be keeping some reservations just because there are some things that I'm kind of just looking at this trailer and just thinking, it's kind of like basically a repeat of the first movie, but with like a little bit of few changes here and there, maybe to just show it off to a younger audience that haven't necessarily watched the original 1996 movie that stars, Helen Hunt and Bill Paxton. But who knows? There might be something that might surprise us. So, but that's all to say about the Twisters trailer. Like, again, I'm not gonna say it's my most anticipated movie going into the summer. I still have questions about whether it's necessary, but maybe have different opinions about it. Let me know your thoughts having now seen this new trailer. Do you think it still will be effective even with the changes that you do make, or is it just basically kind of like a remake? Like, I mean, there really isn't too much of a difference having not seen the trailer, but maybe you may have caught something that maybe I just may have missed. Do you feel like you're a bit reserved, or do you think that you actually feel like this might be a promising movie? Let me know your comments down below and make sure to like and subscribe.